The next video was captured in the basement of Mark and shared on his channel Donny Drunkard. He's documenting the haunting in his home for several years now, and I highly recommend you check him out. He was attempting to contact the spirit world once again, and the following video was part of a live stream that Mark had conducted. It was broadcasted live on his channel at the time.
Come.
And what's interesting about this recording is that a viewer of his noticed an odd anomaly the second that Mark is switching the light on.
Damn, it's darkening. It's darkening.
We can see something that looks like a weird shadow apparition disappearing into the floor. It's almost impossible to make it out without slowing the footage down. But I'm 100% convinced that this thing is related to all the paranormal encounters in his home. Pretty eerie. The following video was captured by a young man one night who was filming in the local city. They were located right next to a mosque, and it is said that a service was being held in there at the time. The man described the following encounter as quite baffling. Apparently, he saw something transparent leaving the mosque building into the sky and then disappearing only seconds later. It does look quite strange, doesn't it? A shadow being is seemingly floating into the sky. What it was exactly? Hard to explain. Some people stated that it might have been a trash bag or something of that nature, while others believe this to be a more mysterious encounter. What's your opinion? The next case has been shared from the home of user failed talk show host. The man claims that he could hear mysterious noises for the last couple of years, coming from his apartment, and this was mainly happening in the late evening hours. He tried hard to figure out what was going on in his home, but was never lucky enough to uncover the origin of these creepy sounds. However, one night he was noticing the mysterious sounds once more and snapped a photo towards the kitchen from where he could hear them. He enhanced the photo only to notice what appears to be a very tall figure standing in his kitchen. It's quite the terrifying image, and it seems to be that this apparition is wearing a priest's collar, at least in my opinion. Just look how tall it is. Whatever we are seeing here should not have been there. A few nights after that, the man grabbed his phone again, after hearing these weird noises originating once more. This time he didn't capture anything on his photo, but rather decided to put out his camera, and he started recording for several hours on standby. Once again it is pretty dark, but after enhancing the footage, we can see a figure moving in the dark, and it's pretty clear that this must have been the same person or thing that we had seen in the kitchen photo. I don't think that we are dealing with a squatter here, so is it safe to say that we are seeing something paranormal unfold? Who knows? The next video was captured by a family who came back from a little trip in Mexico. They were traveling along a road in the fields, which was relatively deserted. What made them pull out their phone was a scary looking object that was seemingly floating in the sky, just a few meters above the road. They said that it was an extremely scary looking shadow figure, with barely any facial features as far as they could tell. They had no explanation for this terrifying incident, other than something inexplicable that must have unfolded here. How else could we explain this? What is that thing? This video was captured by a young man who states that he was on a nightly stroll in his local forest. He says, although it can feel quite a bit creepy there at nights, especially since the area has no streetlights whatsoever, and the graveyard is located right next to this strip of forest. He never had seen anything strange before, but he tells us that he heard a weird whimpering noise that made him feel quite uneasy, and at this point he started recording and held the flashlight towards the noises. In his words, this thing just looked like a grey cloud that was floating towards him. Only after watching this video back at home, he had to realize that this was perhaps a spirit. Many think that it looks like a floating torso. So maybe it was a visiting spirit from the neighboring graveyard. The following video is also quite the spooky one. It was recorded by Ali McDaniel, who states that he had just returned from a fishing trip that day and that he heard some really alarming screams from a close-by public bathroom. He didn't see anybody entering, and he felt that this was quite odd, so he started recording this encounter.
Yo, what the? What the? Bro. There's nobody in here. Yo.
What Ali didn't realize at the time was that there seemed somebody else standing relatively close to him in the bathroom. Many people said that the screams seemed quite real though, making some believe that it might have been just a nice video project. But if not, what exactly had unfolded here that evening? we are taking a look at some CCTV footage, which stems from an old sewer tunnel system located somewhere in Europe. The story goes that a lot of sketchy stuff was going on in these systems back in the day, and that to this day, workers still see the eerie outlines of spirits down there. Apparently, the following footage is showing us one of these instances. A woman seems to appear at the end of the sewer tunnels, but also the light flickers just moments before she appears on camera. That's quite strange. And as mysteriously as she appears, she vanishes. Only moments after that, there is a dark shadow that is making it towards the end of the tunnel as well. Which is pretty inexplicable to many. What do you think happened here? I couldn't say, to be honest. The following was captured by the security camera of a laundromat store. The owner uploaded the video as proof, because many people swore that the building was extremely haunted. Creepy sightings were nothing rare, apparently. However, the owner could never capture evidence on his camera until this night. After closing the store up for the night, the man left and the security camera kept rolling. The footage got randomly pulled one day and they saw something on it that looked quite creepy. It looks like a woman with dark hair that is standing next to the laundry machine in the right top corner of the room. How terrifying. What's even more creepy, however, is how she mysteriously seems to appear in the room, and then only moments after disappears again. Of course, there are reflections from the street outside that can be seen in this store. But many are certain that this is not what we are seeing here. So, is this a spirit haunting the man's store? The following clips were shared by user BV1150, who states that he as well is experiencing some really terrifying events unfolding in his own four walls. Ever since moving into his new place, he was visited by strange shadow sightings and was woken up in the midst of night by loud banging noises and furniture that was being pushed around. His friends never believed him, however, and they were certain that he was just joking around. In the following video, he had a friend over, and indeed, there seemed to be some unusual loud noises that were stemming from his closet, or from right above his closet, which was weird because nobody else should have been there.
Get up. Get up. Get up. Yo, here, listen. Fucking touch that door. Oh, f off.
Nothing at first glance, but after BV decides to take a look around and opens the door to one of the rooms, there seemed to be something else with them. A really odd-looking shadow can be seen standing at the end of the room, and then it charges at them as if it wanted to hurt them. BV states that they could not sleep at his place that night and that he has nightmares ever since. If it wasn't just a skit by the young man, has maybe something demonic entered? Something that is now playing tricks on him? Who can say? This video was captured by Marco. The young man states that he's working the night shift in one of the local mines, and that ever since their company has started working on this project, he and his colleagues can always hear some inexplicable screams from inside the old and darkened tunnels. Some even swear to have seen strange things in there that didn't really make sense to them. This night, Marco wanted to record one of the most notorious areas of this mine for friends and family, and this is when he captured the following.
Muchos compañeros no querían estar ahí, decían que los asustaban mucho e incluso decía que veían gente dentro de ese polvorín abandonado.
Marco had no idea what this creepy creature was, and it startled him quite a bit. He showed the footage to his colleagues. At this point, the team was pretty much certain that these mines indeed were haunted. I mean, what else could be going on here? Is this maybe an inexplicable being? Really hard to say.